Deepest thoughts wrote down in rhyme. Dreams of...
So the record actually opens with a prologue, which is actually the title track to the record. It's called Mirror on the Wall, and it's centered around one of the two main melodic themes that I kept going back to when writing this album. It's also the first time I experimented with doing a track completely a cappella, no instruments, just my voice, and it's something I've wanted to do for a very long time, but didn't really have an idea for it until we made this record. And that title track, that prologue, it talks about actually looking into oneself, realizing that there are things that you have to fight within yourself, demons that you have to battle with, and knowing what you have to do to face them. It centers around that lyric, I don't want to be the fairest of them all, I just want to be enough, which in a sense is the theme of the record.
I don't want to be the fairest of them all.
So just the amount of vocals and the amount of takes on this is crazy. We have 3 main vocals. We have 2 mid harmonies, or 2 different types of harmonies, and then 2 high harmonies and another. So each the way that I do harmonies is I do 2 of each, left and right. And these are all panned differently, so it's kind of like creating a spectrum. So we have overall 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 vocal takes, which is crazy. Believe it or not, there is 3 of me in here doing the very low, boring, baritone type bassy thing, just to give it that extra depth, and just having a different voice kind of tricks your ear a little bit. But so there is a lot involved with the acapella and getting all the timing correct, and cutting up dead space that doesn't need to be there, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like these honestly took the longest because there's more vocals.
I knew he'd make a Mariana's Trench version, a Shane Archer-Reid version of a Mariana's Trench idea.
Really?
Yes. It's short. What do you want me to do? It's short.
He calls it short, I call it concise.
Fair.
I was young, wide-eyed, and crazy.
Track 2, which I consider to be the real opening song, because it's the first full-length song on the record, is a song called As It Should Be, and it's one of the later songs that I wrote for this record, actually. That song was actually centered around that bass riff you hear in the beginning of the track. I knew as soon as I finished writing it that it was going to be the opener because of how high energy and how fast and how driving the song ended up being. It's also one of those songs that I tend to put on every record that's not, in the typical pop song structure. It's not verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, whatever. It kind of has this 12-bar blues feel without being a 12-bar blues, if that makes any sense. Lyrically, this stemmed off a conversation I had with my mother, actually, about how crazy this world has been in the past year, especially in 2020, and we talked about everything that's been going wrong, everything that's been tragic this year, and what could have been done to maybe prevent all of that. And we realize that we both have to look at the world not only as it is, but as it should be. That's the title of the song.
Here's a little bit here. See if I can find the chorus.
Break my bones, leave me far from home, but I see the world as it
song, honestly, is probably, I feel like, one of the easiest to play because it's basically just going back and forth between two chords.
It's my favorite track on the record, as this was the first record. This was the first song I heard from the completed work from Ian, and it definitely was the one that is on the record that is my personal favorite.
Track 3 is the first single off the record. It's called Moving Mountains, Dammit, I'm Trying. This was one of those songs that absolutely wrote itself. As soon as I had that opening guitar riff in my head, that stemmed me coming up with the lyrics of the chorus. You know, that "God damn it, I'm trying" hook that just kept coming over and over again as I was trying to write the song. That led into me finding the lyrics I wanted for the verse, going back to a song I had written previously and referencing that in the bridge of this song, and even finding a moment where I could reference a show I had done. There's a slight dogfight reference in there in the second verse, if you can hear it. You know, once I got home and picked up my guitar and put the chords behind that riff and behind those words. Like I said, the song basically wrote itself, and everything about it felt so anthemic and so inspiring that I knew this was going to be one of the stronger songs on the record. And it shows with how well the video came out for it and how I feel when I perform it. Honestly, it's meant to be an anthem for someone who's facing their insecurities, they're facing their inner demons, and while everyone tells them that they're not doing enough, sometimes you just gotta scream at the top of your lungs, "God damn it, I'm trying."
The amount of fun we have with that record, but it's such a beautiful track. It really is. I think it really shows Shane has been in his thoughts with this record, because if there's one thing Shane and I talk about enough, it's the concept of being good enough, whether you're anyone or Shane or Reed.
So this is the beginning of the song, how it starts. This string section just kind of flows in. Volume increases, you know. And that string section there is actually just playing the guitar part, the lead guitar part. The cool thing about in this song is there is a key change, actually. And then he hits this really high, pretty sure it's a D4, which is crazy. Right here. That's crazy. Getting up that high in your actual chest voice. But Shane is definitely a tenor, so.
Track 4 is a song called Living a Lie. As opposed to the last track, this one actually took a while to write. This one took some time and took me being meticulous about how things were structured. It's also one of the few times I had some help writing the lyrics. I had some help from Adam Munoz and Dana Comfort to help me write these lyrics. The song itself is kind of a realization that the people who are telling you that you're not good enough also have their own insecurities to fight, and the life you think they're living isn't always what it seems. And sometimes you have a moment where you discover that that person is living a lie, and not only do you tell yourself, I'm gonna go backtrack and take some time to start over, but I'm also gonna call you out. I'm gonna tell you that you may have told me all these hurtful things, you may have done all these things to hurt me, but I also know that you're living a lie, and that's going to help me move forward.
I really, really appreciate that hook as well. It's when I was talking to a few other people that Shane and I both talked to, it seemed like that one was very underappreciated, which makes me very sad. I really like that track, and I wish that other people would sometimes, and it makes me a little salty about that.
What's cool about this song is there is a lot of like extra things going on here. There's piano, there's a lot of string section going on here, all this blue stuff right here, and all this purple is piano. There is this cool like weird sound that I made for the choruses, and it's not like an instrument, it's just kind of like this weird synth and stacked with another sound that I made, just to give it like a different type of feel, as opposed to your basic every, oh well that's in that song, oh well that's in that song. I kind of just wanted this song to stick out. I was kind of going for like this saxophone type of sound, but I didn't want it to sound like a saxophone, so this is kind of like what came out of it right here. Very simple, nothing crazy. It's just like, 5 notes. But yeah, this is what it sounds like in context with the chorus. We got this piano melody throughout basically the entire song. What I really like about this chorus, it's just a very catchy chorus, but what I like about this chorus is the drums, the drum fills are just, I don't know, they're just really cool. It's a nice quick little fill, it's just really that little fill right there I love, which repeats twice in the chorus. That for sure is my favorite song off the album. Probably just the amount of stuff that's in it, and the amount of extra pre or post production that went into it.
That one, I remember when Shane and I were listening to that in the car on the way to New Jersey, not Atlantic City. We had just left Atlantic City. That was when that one hit me the most. I think it was because that was the new version of it, and so when I heard that, just that one really stuck out to me. Like, oh yeah, that one's. I'm really enjoying this one now. This one's a lot better. It's a lot smoother going down than it was before. Which I did like the track beforehand, but now it was even more smooth, so appreciate that.
Track 5 is a song called Words Fail. This is another one that kind of wrote itself, and definitely one of the more somber songs on the record. It was actually inspired by a story about how my grandfather kind of came into our family a little bit, because he was raised by friends of the family, essentially. And when he came of age, he got to choose what last name he had, because he was raised by a different family, which is why he chose the last name Reed. He was also never really in contact with his biological father as much. Apparently there were letters written that were never sent or anything like that, and he wasn't exactly a good person. So to hear the story of how my grandfather ended up turning that around, and how our family name became our family name, was actually very, very interesting. And it inspired the words to this song, because there are times where people will, I guess for lack of a better word, try to communicate with you in the best way possible. But sometimes, words just aren't enough, and whatever you say provokes some kind of negative action from the other party, and you feel like you end up getting hit in the face because of it. Just from trying to talk things out.
I like this one because we added acoustic guitar like last minute, and it really fills it in more. And they just they're so crisp.
In a dark and empty room,
And of course, you got that extra strings in there.
you come home to me soon.
I think that's the big thing of involved with this album, is just like the post-production aspect with the orchestra, the orchestra of, there's, I wouldn't say in every song, but just about every song there's some type of orchestra, some type of strings, something just to make it more theatrical, basically. And that's what I like about this. And like I said earlier, Shane gives me that theatrical vibe, and that's kind of what we stuck with. That's what we rolled with, and it worked out really nicely. Let's see. Oh yeah. So this one, I don't know if you know the old cartoon Dragon Tales. You guys know what that is? So when he gave me this guitar part, which was right here. Let me see if I can solo it. This thing right here. I was like, that sounds familiar, and then I did it on the strings as the intro on top of the guitar, right? And it sounds, to me, I would have to look it up, I haven't looked it up, but it sounds so familiar. And the first thing that came to my head was Dragon Tales, and it's just the strings by themselves sound like Dragon Tales. It might just be me, but it sounds like the intro of the actual show.
Track 6 is called Where the Sidewalk Ends. Yes, it is based off of the Shel Silverstein book. It's a callback to remembering how simple life was when you're really young, and as you grow up wanting to do bigger and better things with your life. But sometimes you can be scared to leave what's comfortable. You're scared to venture out for fear that you're going to fail or not end up doing the right thing. And this song kind of personifies those emotions a little bit, of just wanting to get out and live a better life, but scared you might not be doing it right, or scared you might be leaving something really good behind.
Favorite hook. That one's my favorite hook. And just, I've always, that one actually used to be in my head. I remembered I would actually wake up and just immediately that would be in my head. And I would wonder, is this because I really like it, or is it because it's my job to think about Shane's music all the time? And I think it's because I like it.
But yeah, what I really like about this part is I added this cool impact just to like bring the song in. And that's something I try to do with this album, is as opposed to having like every song like slowly fade in or every song just start. You know, I wanted each song to sound like different. I wanted it to have its own thing about this, you know, the song, like from the get-go or at the end or something. So this one I added this really cool impact just to start it off. You know, because like originally it would have just sounded like this without the impact. So it would have just started like this, which is still cool and it's got that beef to it and it starts right off really nice and heavy. But I wanted something to like swell in from the previous song, you know. So it starts like this. Yeah, I think that's for me. That's probably the coolest part of the song, is that bridge there.
And I can't sleep again.
So the piano part, all the piano with it, gives it so much more emotion, for sure. And I love that, and then I love how it changes by the end with the he gets so lonely bit, and I feel the impact on it. I feel the power of the song with it, for sure.
Track 7 is a song called Man on the Moon, which is quickly becoming a favorite of mine. It's probably the most emotional song on the record. It comes from a place of feeling like you're stuck, feeling like whatever it is you have to face, whatever demons you're fighting, whatever obstacles you're trying to overcome, you feel like you're having to deal with this stuff completely alone. And it takes that loneliness and turns it into almost a cry for help, essentially. Because the lyrics of the chorus is literally just a repetition of it gets so lonely. And, that loneliness can sometimes, it can hurt a lot more than people give it credit for. I know I've felt that way quite a few times, not only in my career, but just in my life in general. And I think writing about it, especially writing this specific song about it, made it easier to deal with. Obviously, it never completely goes away, but it was the easiest way for me to communicate those emotions, because I didn't feel like I could just come out and say it.
So this is a very, very theatrical, ballady, just piano and type of thing. So he did Moving Mountains, which was this rock song, and then I was like, well, you could go one or two ways with it, up the ante even more with another rock song, or you can go the complete polar opposite way and do your next music video as this very slow song to just let people know that you're doing different things, so so this is Man on the Moon. It's because of the name, I tried to make it kind of spacey, hence the beginning here. So it's got this, I don't want to say spaceship type sound, but it's got a atmospheric type swell in kind of thing.
2 a.m. and I can't sleep again, and I've tried almost everything to clear my restless mind.
And when we get to the chorus, the first chorus here, it's very like I said, spacey, just because I went off of, I was very literal with the title of the song, which is Man on the Moon, and trying to get that that visual in your head when you hear the song. Like I picture a guy sitting on the moon singing on it with a piano or something on the moon. Like that's what I see in my head. So I wanted to really audibly create that visual in your head, kind of thing.